Kami and her beautiful children. And I gotta say, I think I got the best looking crew on here that I've had yet. They're all gingers. Are they not so beautiful or what? I've known Kami for, my gosh, Kami, how many years now?
Yeah.
You were a child.
Probably 16 or 17 years.
Long time. Long time. And I just stopped by here this evening to see my friend and tell her about tomorrow. And they're actually going to be heading to the Humboldt County Fairgrounds for 4-H. She was ironing all their beautiful, I should have had Kelsey put her thing on, but they are all going to go show off their animals. Come on over, Kelsey, and say a peek, say a hello. They're all going to just real quick. They've all been going through a lot of stuff here at their school for the last year and a half. And they all told me their things. And so I asked their mama if she would mind if they all could share real quick. And then we're going to let them scoot out. And her and I are going to talk a little more. But little ones, let's see. Who do you want to let go first, Kami? To tell about what happened. Charlotte, what'd you tell me about wearing those? We call them face diapers because you can't actually call them the Ask May word. That's Pig Latin. You know Pig Latin, right? Ask May. So they're face diapers in school. The teachers wanted you to wear them. And how did you feel about that? Was it easy for you? Did you like it? Look at that face. That's Charlotte's specialty face.
Do you have any stories about wearing it that you want to tell? What's your story?
My story is that I don't like wearing masks.
Talk clearer, louder and clearer. Good.
And I don't like it because it makes me not breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And did your teacher sometimes make you pull it up when you're having a hard time? And you had a teacher last year that you couldn't hear her a lot, your mom told me. And what else? What was something that happened? What was it? You told me something. Oh, I'm going to let her mom tell you that story later, but we'll talk about that when they leave.
Mm-hmm.
But so, yeah, anything else you want to say, little one, about how you felt about those face diapers? Can you stop banging that, please?
What about one day when your friend fell on the playground?
I picked her up and I have to wash my hands.
Well, what your mama told me was you guys have those good bucket things.
Bucket fillers.
And usually the teachers, like at my preschool where I taught the kids, they were given little hearts every time they did something nice for another kid. And then they'd fill up the hearts and then they were able to have a party or do whatever. So your mom said that you went to help your friend up, but what happened? You got in trouble because the teacher didn't like you touching your friend and trying to help her get up off the sidewalk, right? And she was crying and upset.
Did anybody give her a big hug because she hurt herself?
I did.
You did.
And she got in trouble for that. And so the teacher called you and told you that Charlotte actually touched and hugged and loved on a kid. And so she got in trouble for it.
That's what they said.
She got in trouble for it. So,
but it made made the other girl's heart feel so happy because she was so sad that she fell and hurt herself.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlotte was so brave and just ran and scooped her right up and helped her up and gave her a big hug.
Because she knows what's right. And she knows it's not right to live in fear. Like you said, you said the teacher kind of, you saw it happen with another child. These teachers have been afraid with the kids.
How many masks did your teacher wear to school?
2.
Why did she wear 2?
Because she was too scared that she would get COVID.
That's sad, right?
And she got vaccinated.
And you guys have people that have had that illness. We just call it the illness because we can't really call it that or we'll get in trouble.
Also let us she wasn't scared on the last day of school. She let us hug her.
Yeah, she did. Well, that's
the last day of school. They got a special treat, and she hugged each one of them.
Wow. So that was a weird school year, huh? No touching, no hugging. Cover your mouth up. Mama was going and fighting for you every week, talking to the school board. Yeah, go ahead.
That was difficult for Charlotte specifically. Was that they would get to school at 8:15 is when her class started. We picked her up at, 11:45? No, 11. You were done. You were done at 11. 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Okay.
They could not have a snack at all. They could have a water bottle on their desk, but if they couldn't open the water bottle lid themselves, they couldn't have it.
So she'd be in school all those hours. Your other kids would be in school all those hours. if you had to go grocery shopping or do anything else in Humboldt County in the last year and a half, they were also supposed to wear those everywhere they went around town as well. So, and what else stories? You told me some more stories poor Charlotte went through that she's 6, right?
She was 5 at the
First
time.
kindergarten?
5 to 6. Yeah, kindergarten.
That is not normal for school, honey. None of us did that when we were in school. So there's just some very bad people that are in charge right now and making some very bad decisions, and it's hurting all of us right now. So your mom and I, we've been fighting it from the beginning, and we'll talk more about that later.
How about you go? You're done.
We'll let Hayden, do you want to tell us what happened to you at school? What grade are you in, honey? You're in 3rd or 4th? No, you're in 5th.
In 5th.
So talk loud and clearer and faster. So you're in 5th grade?
Yeah.
And what happened to you? Were your teachers always like, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up all the time?
Really?
No. Well, what happened that you didn't like? Did you have a good teacher? Was that the one you said if
Good teacher.
she had a good teacher? Well, good.
But her teacher was reprimanded in front of the students, right, Hayden? Because
Yeah.
kids were taking their mask off,
Mhm,
their
mhm.
thing off, on the way to their cars after class,
Oh, so outside.
outside in the field by themselves.
Yeah.
So they're outside walking to like their parents' cars or whatever, and they would be all by themselves, 30 feet away from anybody, and they would, pull it down and start breathing, and
Mhm.
they would get yelled at
Ridiculous.
through the field.
Ridiculous. So I guess our Humboldt County Fair is happening because they're going to be out there with their animals. And I just heard that, yeah, if you want to go to our fair this year, you're going to have to wear a face diaper on your face outside and inside. So I won't be going to the fair for the first time in 32 years, or last year was probably the first time we missed because they canceled it. So, and now hopefully, I know that 4-H has been really good with, right? There's people that don't really push that.
4-H and FFA. And it's hard for the kids because they've been working on these projects. Some of them, I think some of the steers, it's like an 18-month project. So they have all this time and money. I mean, these kids each have hundreds to thousands of dollars invested in these animals. And the first fair wasn't a big hit. Like we fought and fought and fought to get county approval to have the first fair. And the auction was the lowest numbers we'd ever seen.
Because they shut us everything down.
Because they shut everything down, yeah. But I mean, this is a great group of kids. Everybody works their butt off.
Thank you, Hayden. We're done with.
Everybody's respectful. Everybody, nobody's trying to do nothing.
Now this one here is the one that really upsets me because I know that he has asthma, and I have another friend whose kid has asthma and had another teacher that was just as heinous with this, pushing this, making them keep it up all the time. It's just ridiculous. And so Liam, what did you tell me today, honey, about, he has so many, I know his mom has so many stories too. Go ahead and say what you want to say about how was your school year and what did you hate about wearing the face diapers?
I didn't really like how when we were outside and we had to wear the face diapers because
outside you had to wear them too on the playground. And if you were running around outside, you had to wear them too.
We also played kickball, and every time we would have, because it's kind of like baseball where you have to run around. There's home plate. But like every time we run, and I have sports-induced asthma.
Sports-induced asthma, right? So, and the teachers didn't really care about that. Nobody cared about an exemption here. They said maybe they're going to get around to that.
You can pull your mask down to use your inhaler. And they told him a few times, like, just pull it down when you need to use your inhaler. But, I mean, how many times did you get in trouble for pulling your mask down?
A lot.
A lot. I've also heard them want to recommend children get on medication if they can't sit still with their mask on their face. That's insane to me. So we have one more. Let's let your sister come on in. Is there anything else you want to say about what you think about all this? You think this year will be better? Because Mama's fighting for you, right? We're all fighting for you guys. These are who we're fighting for. These guys don't deserve to be wearing these stupid face diapers. They do not need this medicine. They're going to be fine. They don't deserve to be made to feel like they're a germ. They don't deserve to be made to be afraid. And so, yeah, we're fighting for you, honey. Don't worry. We're not going to let it.
What made me the maddest I have 4 kids, all of them, different teachers, different ages. He's sitting there in a face covering suffering through the beginnings of an asthma attack because he's afraid. First of all, he's not the kid that likes the, hey, I need help with this attention. Granted, he's a goofball and he likes people to laugh with him, but he would come home and have asthma attack after asthma attack after asthma attack to the point where he missed the next day of school. And that was worth it to them to keep him covered.
How sad.
He couldn't breathe. He's obvious. So it's more important to sit there covered up, not being able to pay attention because you can't breathe, than it is for you to be able to breathe and learn. I'm
going to share this. We can keep talking. We'll let, do you have anything else you want to share? I'm just going to go to the channel and share it in our Facebook Stand Up Humboldt group really quick, because sometimes they don't know. But this is my trucker friend, and I hope I can get on later with them. But we're working on something. They're working on something for next month, and I'm helping them with that too. So, and it's a big movement for the truckers. It's something they're hoping a lot of people will
hate him, brush, and go to bed.
Participate in. So I'm going to go in the Stand Up Humboldt group and just drop this link in, streaming with my local mama here. So you said that there were 2 other moms that, well, wait, first we'll let Kelsey talk and then she can go on with her thing. But Kelsey, you're going to be going into high school. So you were in 8th grade last year. What school was she? Was in Cutton?
No, she was at Winship.
She was at Winship. Okay. And so this year she'll go to what? Eureka High School? Okay. So there, if anybody wants to see what we're doing, they can see over there. Okay, so Kelsey, you're going into high school last year. What do you want to tell me about? Tell people how your year was with all the stuff going on.
So
last
I
year.
had my PE teacher is super lenient. You know, he was like, "You can
Your
have your
PE
mask
teacher?
off." Yeah.
Okay.
He was like, "You can have your mask off and when you're outside. Like, I don't care as long as you don't get caught." We're like, "Okay."
Don't try not to say that word too much if you can. We call it face diaper.
Yeah.
That's okay. Go ahead.
So I would wear it indoors sometimes, but then I would get like anxiety attacks and like freak out and I couldn't breathe. And I didn't want to go outside because I didn't want to cause a scene. So I just take it down. At the beginning of the school year, we had to go through these stupid like videos on how to wear a face mask.
Oh my gosh.
And they said, do not chew on your face mask. So I just all of a sudden started chewing on my face mask.
Your face diaper.
Oh, yeah, my face diaper. I just started chewing on it. I was like,
right, don't do this.
And they were like, don't touch it. So
do.
I'm just sitting there like this.
Right.
And I was like petting my face. And I'm
because you're a rebel at heart. That's why.
And they're like, don't have your nose out. So I'm having my nose out, chewing on it, wiping my face. And they're like, you can't do that.
So she did have to go to the pediatrician at one point in the year for an injury that she had sustained. And they had asked, how's other things going and this and that. And, we just kind of go over, the last couple months. And I said, she does tend to rip her mask off and just gasp and need a few minutes, and the pediatrician has said that's very common. A lot of kids are getting anxiety from wearing them for longer periods of time. And there's nothing we can really do about it at this point.
Maybe offer you some medication.
See, they didn't, but they know that I'm not the one that's going to take anything like that. So
hi, RD. YouTube hates us, we got a viewer. Yay, we got a viewer. So anyway, Kelsey, what else happened?
So my cousin ended up getting tested positive. And not everyone that he was around was called. And so I was already taken out because my cheerleading tryouts, someone tested positive. I was like, great, I'm going to be online. So I get back and I have my nose out and I just hear, Kelsey, put your mask back, put it back on. And I said, okay. And they're like, because you're related to the person who had COVID and you're going to spread it around.
Oh,
and I said, excuse me, you're going to tell me to do it, but you're not going to tell the tallest person in the class standing up not to put it back on.
You were sassing your teacher?
This is first period too. And I was like, and he goes,
I don't love that.
He was like, do I need to send you to the office? I was like, sure, go ahead. I ended up not getting said send up to the office because they were
they did or didn't send
they didn't because I was like, it's kind of dumb that the tallest kid standing up messing around isn't wearing a mask. And I pointed behind me, I was like, and that girl, and that one, and that one.
Right. So they probably didn't like you talking back to them, I'm
No.
guessing.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I know your mom told me that a lot of your girlfriends had got that exam, and that at Humboldt Open Door Clinic, they were forced to take the jab if they wanted the exam for
The sports.
the cheerleading. So you guys are my source on that how many kids in our community of Humboldt County were coerced to take that jab by Humboldt Open Door Clinic because they wanted to do cheerleading. Kami or Kelsey, how many of you told me it was like,
How many of the girls at the tryouts said that to you,
Like
Kelsey?
95% of them.
which would be how
and
many?
there was like
which would
50
be
girls.
50 girls? I thought it was 20 girls. So they
There's-
went
there's a
and
lot more.
got the free vacation is what we call the jab, so they could do cheerleading, right? Is that what you're
Yes.
telling me? And Humboldt Open Door probably did it for free, but of course they told them, we won't give you an exam. When did that ever become a thing?
Yeah.
We won't give you an exam unless you take this. Our local hospitals are trying to say that they will not even treat us if we don't take this or the test. And they're freaking out our community with this Delta crap. And the way it seems to me is the summer they rolled out the more of these things. Let her finish up, and then you and I will talk about all this other
Okay.
stuff. Kids don't need to be worrying about this stuff. So I want to let her finish up. What else, Kelsey, you want to say about how your school year was, or just even overall in Humboldt County?
Overall, it's great. I just think there's a lot of issues with Humboldt County right now. The
Mhm.
vaccine, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what's in that? The face diapers.
Mm-hmm.
They're, what do they even do? Like, I can't even put one on now. Like, I can't breathe.
Right. I can't breathe either,
I always
so.
have my nose out. And then, like,
Mhm.
I had a teacher today when I was setting up. Like, someone's like, "Kelsey, where's your mask?" And I was like, "It's in my dad's car." And they're like, "Oh, go get it." Like, that's when the teachers only talked. And like, I had all my friends around me, and we're like not wearing them.
She's at school now?
The
This is
Setting
not
up
fair.
the teachers
Oh,
setting
fair.
And so
Right,
I was
right.
like, I can't wait to see what are they gonna do? Make me not able to sell?
Mhm,
Great, I get
mhm.
meat.
Oh. Yeah, so they're really just, it's like you either wear this, take this, or you don't get to participate in Humboldt County life. You can't go to the fair, you can't do 4-H, you can't do school, you can't go to certain stores. I mean, it's just it's been really hard to take, you guys. It's been really hard to take because I just drove across 4 states. You guys were just in Utah. So your kids got to see normalness.
Yeah. It was
Utah
fun.
and Nevada, people were just
Yeah.
being people, doing their thing,
I could
Playing-
walk
Believe it.
around.
playing sports.
And not
having
Wow. What if they
activities.
come to California? What if they come to Humboldt County, you guys?
Nothing.
What if they come here and they don't want to wear the thing, or if they didn't take the thing? I mean, people are calling my place of work and asking for they want people that took certain medical choices to go and service them. So these kids, so when does school start, honey?
School starts next week on
Ne-
Monday.
Next week on Monday. So what we're hoping is the parents, you said 2 more of the mamas come and fight. Is there anything else you want to say? Because Mom and I are going to talk about things that are going to be boring to you. Is there anything else you want to say about this last year it wasn't just school. How about when you were out in public and when you went to certain stores?
It was so dumb. Like, they were like, "Oh, put it on, put it on."
Do you like baggers and checkers and people telling you how to treat your body?
No, it's not even their body.
Right.
My body's a temple. I can
That's
choose
right.
it the way I want.
Thank you, Kelsey, for saying that. You guys, meet Kelsey. She might be president of the United States one day.
Hopefully, ban all this garbage.
She's just very much like her mother, Kami, who's quite the spitfire.
Yes,
That's- okay.
You go
All right.
along.
So Kami told me something that just stole my breath away that her little daughter said to her in the van one day.
So we picked her up from class one day.
She's 6 or she was 5 at the
she
time?
she was 5 at the time. So she turned 6 3/4 of the way through, and she
Okay.
started crying, and I was like, "What's going on?" Some days it's just busy day and they've had too much.
Mhm.
And she's eating her little lunch in the car because she'd get out of class and she would be starving. Like, I would literally give her, all veggies and salami and cheese and all the things that are good for you. And she would eat everything. and we'd come home and she'd have what we call just second lunch because she's so hungry.
Hobbits. They're hobbits.
Hobbits is, yes.
Mhm.
And so she was crying and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And she said, well, when can I just get the
Vacation.
yes, the over here,
Right.
the vacation,
Right.
because I'm sick of wearing this.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, sister, like,
She's 5.
you're not old enough. It's not approved for kids. It's not something that I'm going to choose for you anyway.
Right.
And she said, well, I have to wear this then until I get that because that's what they said at school. And I was like, well, it's not appropriate for your teachers to talk to you about those things. Those are mom and dad, kindergarten. This is in kindergarten. This is not something that is, this is not on the syllabus for the year. At what point did, parents are
Right.
picking schools and we're like, yeah, let's pick this one because they're very pro
Medically educated.
educated.
Like doctors over there.
Absolutely. Mhm.
They're doctors at that school.
Yeah. So I was pretty upset by that. And it's just, she'd come home from school and she'd feel like her body was going to get somebody else sick. She would say, I just want to see my friends' faces. I just want to, I want to play with them. They couldn't touch each other at all in the playground. So they had different zones. So they would go out and one class would play in the field and one class would get the play structure that week. And then they'd switch it. And they need to play make-believe. They need to be touching. They need to be seeing faces and seeing the emotion in faces while being talked to when you're reading a story. If it's an excited bear, if it's a sad bear, you can't see any of those emotions. And that was really hard for her. She didn't connect with her classmates. She didn't connect with her teacher to the point where her teacher would be holding up like flashcards and she'd be like, what color is this? And that's red. That one's red. Oh no, that one's red. That one's red too. Because she didn't ever have that connection enough to put forth any effort into wanting to show off what she's learned. She's not wanting to say that's green and I like,
Right. She's just becoming a robot, literally.
Robot.
I mean, and I know that you would have homeschooled your kids if they wanted to stay home or if you weren't working not everybody has a choice.
If I had known what the school year would have looked like throughout the year, I would never have signed the kids up. And I keep telling my husband at this point, I'm feeling in my heart the same exact way that I was feeling last year at this time. What do I do? Where do I send them? How do I make it to where they're going to learn the most? How do I facilitate that? How do I help the school?
Right.
How do I help the school to educate them and work together as a team when you can't even have a face-to-face conversation with the teacher to determine what your kid needs? I mean, phone calls are great. Zoom, I'm done with it.
Right.
But that face-to-face is necessary to get to the bottom of problems with the kids, to get the kids motivated and learning and wanting to do it. And I'm feeling the same hesitations and the same anxiety that I felt a year ago today.
Yeah, I know. They're all in different ages. Kelsey's going into high school. It's supposed to be this wonderful time of year. And it's just going to be hell for her.
Yeah.
If they don't, if these Humboldt County parents would on day one, what we were talking about was if they would just on day one, bring them to their knees about this issue. Do not put those things on your children. And when you do show up, you tell them, if you can get 6 parents to say, I'll take their seat.
Yeah.
You can just leave now because we don't want this. They're taking fraudulent money and that's why they want your kids suffocating. It's ridiculous. And tomorrow's a town hall in Eureka. You guys are going to be at 4-H. So I stopped by tonight to just kind of say hi to Kami. And I didn't plan to get her kids on camera, but I got them and I'm so excited because I love those kids and they love me and they love coming to my house and being in the country. I mean, and they're so smart. Those kids know just from common sense. I mean, that all of this stuff has been, you had a family member who had the illness. It did damage her lungs and stuff and but you
Liam
guys
had it in February of 2020.
And how old is he?
He's 9 now. So he wasn't quite 8 yet when he had it. He was a few months
He
shy.
was sick for weeks.
He was extremely sick. He was sick for weeks.
And it was around when
It was after my family member had it. All the things, like when it first came out, like we didn't know what the symptoms were. We're like, oh, he's got asthma. He's
Was
sick.
it after March when it was the lockdown, or was it before? Because a lot of
before.
us got it in
It
the
was
fall
before.
before. A lot of our employees got it the winter before. And I heard it started in Seattle, actually, was the West Coast. Yeah.
So he had gotten it before. So it was before the lockdowns happened. And our whole family ended up getting it. Liam did get it the worst out of our whole family.
Really sick.
And he did get better. I mean, we have x-rays of his lungs.
Wow. Yeah.
From February, where there's a weird, hazy, rash-looking thing through his entire lungs.
Wow.
My husband, who's a cancer survivor, was asymptomatic. He had a fever for one evening, and then he felt fine.
Wow. And he didn't take the thing because you guys are definitely just staying.
It wasn't even. So
that wasn't even out.
It wasn't even out yet.
An option.
There wasn't even a test for it when our whole family got sick, even though, and this is the kicker for me, the ER doctor we saw when we went in for the chest x-rays looked me in the eye and said, I tested him for that and it's negative. So you took some blood from him. 20 minutes later, you came back and you listed off this list of all these things that were negative. That was one of them. And I said, are you sure that's not what it is? Absolutely, that's not what it is. We tested him. It came back. So in 20 minutes, you got a test before there was a test in Humboldt County?
Well, there's no Delta variant test, so I'm not really sure. We've been doing some investigative research, and we can't find any Delta variant testing stations. We don't know where this data is coming from. Nobody gets tested for it. So how do they know that it's even a thing? And what was I going to just say to you about this, the testings and all this junk that's going on here? Sunday, we're having the medical freedom. There's going to be a rally in front of the hospitals. But what else were we talking about with the what you've been going through? Everything with Colin. So Colin's work is not being affected so much. If he was still at Winco, he'd probably be having to wear that thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But he's truck driving a cement truck around, and he's probably never been happier that he made that career change. And you've been working, and things are going pretty good at your job, but maybe you don't know. Schools shifting. Everything is shifting for everybody right now. And it seems like Humboldt County wants us to stay in this little bubble. Like we're going to, like there aren't 58 counties across California that are choosing to be free. There's other counties where they're not doing this. Clovis County, Shasta County, Trinity County. They're not treating what you just saw, what her kids have been going through by these teachers. It's even worse in the hospitals here. It's really scary because it seems like we've lost our humanity here. They treat the kids like crap. They're not doing no harm anymore. The public health officer's job is to police the unlicensed practice of medicine. And instead, he's telling all these businesses to push it. He's telling the schools that this is what we need to do to keep healthy. That is such a line of horse poop. I don't even know. There's no other narrative that's allowed here. We're not. So that's why we're doing the town hall tomorrow. You guys will be out at the fair. When does the fair start in Humboldt County?
So tomorrow we're hauling the animals in. I think that they open to the public Wednesday because the kids start all their shows on Wednesday. And then we go through Sunday, and then the fair goes another week past us. So the kids are the first week this year, and they're doing the horse races and stuff. I think the middle of the window.
So it's outside, and everybody's going to be required to wear a face diaper outside at the fair. Even though you go north an hour and a half, east a couple hours, south to some other counties, they're free, but not here. No, we can't be free here. We're going to muzzle our kids outside, in school, everywhere they go, all day long.
And that's another kicker for me for next year, honey. For the for my 3 kids' at school, the littler kids, is they've made the statement that the kids are going to be masked all day, indoors and outdoors. So that means PE. If they're outside running and doing PE, they are fully covered. They said lunches, they're still trying to figure out because you have to pull it down to eat. So they're trying to figure out exactly how that's going to look. They want to kind of maybe get the kids outside more to do that. So that way they're not worried about it as much.
Right. When it rains half the year in
Absolutely.
Humboldt County, that'll be easy.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And they're gunning for the small, have you heard anything about locking down? I mean, I guess I'm surprised the fair's even rolling, but it's just their way to give us a little, but you can only enjoy it if you do what we want you to do. And I hate that they're doing that. I don't hate a lot of things. I don't like to use the word hate. I really hate this.
Yeah.
I really hate seeing kids wearing these things because I know that they're not healthy for them. They don't need them. And it's only to make people that are afraid feel better. That's ridiculous. Shame on you who are living in fear and think that the children need to be covered up because it doesn't even help you. It doesn't even help. It's like we said, it's on every box.
And I know for both of us, like I would lay down my life for my kids. I know you would do the same. So why are we as adults asking our kids to do something to protect us? That's not on them. That's not their responsibility. That's not anything that in our history, in my family history, that's not anything that our parents would say, hey, you need to do this to keep me safe. We are bending over backwards to make sure that our children are safe. And the one thing that I've never understood is people with infants are walking around the store and they have it on. Their infants in the carrier in the stroller, and they don't have to because they're too young and it's dangerous, or all these different rules with the youngest of the young. You're not willing to breathe the same air as your kid.
They don't understand why they even wear it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they think that they're like, oh, well, even if when you tell them that the micron particles are 1,700 times smaller than the filtration of the mask, that it still goes through it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much facts you throw at these people. It doesn't matter that the box says it right on the box. It does not prevent, nor does it protect from any kind of virus. It doesn't matter that the data of the people that wore the face diapers have worse numbers than those that don't. It doesn't matter that we have a history of scientific data of face coverings for 40 years. And we know that it's harmful to every organ of your body, your brain. Long-term effects are real. I'm sick of people making it, first of all, the guilt trips is what is really, I'm sick of the guilt trips. Like, a lot of people wear it because they feel so self-righteous. They feel so good because they've been taught and told they're a hero if they wear it.
Because there's the propaganda everywhere you look.
Everywhere you look.
Heroes and mass save lives and all the different things. One of the other kickers for me is you go pick your kid up from, school, and there's, they got the kids in lines and they, are superhero flying out, so that way they're not touching anybody. Everybody's farther away than their hands, and it's cute. Okay, it's cute.
Oh, they really do that?
They're like fly on the way as they're walking out.
It's like slavery, you guys. It really is.
And all these little sweet babies are have these little things here, and there's a huge wet spot right here because all day long they're licking it and they're sucking on it and they're slobbering on it. So how is that effective? Even if that's your what you're saying is the science of it. If there's a fully wet slobber coated section in the middle, how is that helping? Because when you're talking now, you're pushing it through that.
Come on, you guys.
Fully saliva
Come on.
section.
You got a brain left in there anywhere? I mean, Elaine was working at Blue Lake School for 8 years, and she worked through this thing too. And I think she did try to wear it at the school. And I don't know if early on she did, but she saw all the kids coming in with all the side effects from it, and they were getting headaches and they can't breathe. They have asthma. I bet you we could find a parent from every school
absolutely,
that could tell you about all the children's. These people don't care about us.
My kids have never had a headache until they started wearing those. They never had a headache. What was I had thought of something else and then I forgot it. I got in trouble multiple times last year because I would go to the school pickup, which was outside. We'd go kind of wait in a parking lot and the kids would line up, the littler kids. The big kids I park and they come to me. So the littler kids, the teachers come out and they line them up and all the parents are kind of waiting in the parking lot. And multiple times it was, Kami, do you have one of these? And I'd say, yes, I do. Thank you. And I'd walk over to get my child. And well, it's our policy that when you're on school grounds, you need to wear it. I said, I'm not within 5 feet of anybody, not even within 10 feet of anybody. I'm outside. I'm walking to get my child.
Right.
Oh, well, you need to. It's just, it's our policy. And I said, thank you for letting me know. And I would go get my child every day. And so it got to the point where other parents are picking up their kids. We're outside. It is, maybe it's a little breezy. It's like it's fresh, clean air.
Right.
Or it's pouring down rain and people have got umbrellas. Like,
right.
I've never been good at following rules. I'm also
She
kind
is a
of
rebel.
at the point where it's like,
This
if
red
you
hair,
have to do this,
is rebel hair
it
right
is
here.
rebel hair. I want to make the choice for myself and for my family.
Amen. And I do too. And so you've been fighting it from the beginning. You said there's 2 other parents that go. There's 3 parents that go.
I know of, there's 3 parents that go to every board meeting.
Okay, that's good to know.
Of course,
Well, they're virtual.
They're all
Or
online.
I would have been there with
Yes.
you and given them hell too.
Yes, they're all
Everything
online.
is virtual in Humboldt County.
The kid.
You can't even talk to the school people.
And the thing with the virtual meetings that our school has specifically is they conveniently forget to have open like mic time. So they'll talk about something.
Right.
And at the end of talking about it, when you should have a few, and you can even say we're limiting this to 10 minutes, 3 minutes per person. So you could get maybe 3 people to, comment on, if you're talking about apples versus oranges. Well, I feel like we should have apples more because they're easier for a kid to eat. We need that parent time at the end to have our questions and our comments about
There was no
the items.
non-agenda items. Is that what you're saying?
So they would say at the beginning, if there's any non-agenda items
Right.
that people wish to talk about,
right.
this is the time for that.
Okay.
But then after the agenda items, there was never public time
I see. For discussion.
for
Right.
discussion.
Well, that's why tomorrow we are doing a town hall at the city council building where our representatives are supposed to be at work. And I guess they went back to work for like 3 meetings and they decided that they didn't like that very
They didn't
much.
like it.
They did have people coming down there and talking to them. So now they tucked tail and ran and they're hiding out in Zoom again using fraudulent executive orders to hide out.
Conveniently forgetting to let everybody know the Zoom code, or we've changed it
Right.
the last minute because that one wasn't working, and then nobody knows about
Oh, you've
these
had
meetings.
problems with that too?
We've had full on things discussed, and they come to an agreement on they're doing A or B in a meeting that nobody was told about.
Oh,
There was also a meeting we had where they were talking about if they should go back to school after the Thanksgiving break before the Christmas break
right,
for that
last
3
year.
weeks.
Yep,
And
I remember that.
Our board said we're going to come back for that 3 weeks because the kids deserve it. The kids need consistency. The kids need in person. Well, guess what? Our teachers union said, well, we're not going to work.
Right.
So you can come back,
Right.
but you're not going to have teachers.
So that's probably the last time they decided to let you have any kind of voice in the
They don't
matter
like it when
because they're not doing what you ask for anyway. So why should
They're
they
not.
even let that public record show that you guys, because that's what happens when I call the board of supervisors.
Yeah.
I've got it on record twice now.
Then they
I'm
have
waiting
a
on
midnight
holds.
emergency meeting and
Right.
they change what
These
they
guys are
voted
the
on.
worst, you guys. They're the worst. They're so fraudulent here. It's the schools, it's the public health officer. So it's the unions, right? They're the ones that are pushing this thing. They don't care about the data. They don't care that our kids are suffering and hurting physically. They don't care that they're not getting sick from this. They're ruining our kids here. They're ruining our kids here. It's really sad because it's just going to drive people out of this state.
Absolutely.
No one's going to want to live here.
And
like
they're
this
losing
when
the
it's
good
not
parents.
this way.
It's not the garbage parents that don't help at the schools that are fed up because they're like, we're going to send our kids anyway. Do what you do. It's the parents that are in the classrooms. It's the parents that send things like you have a supply list. What do you want? You want to do art projects with the kids? Absolutely. You want parent helpers? We're the ones you want. You're pushing all of us out, hand and fist over. It's just all these good parents. I know of 3 families right now that have pulled their kids
Yeah.
from a district, awesome parents with
Mhm.
amazingly smart children,
Mhm.
pulling their kids because of this kind of stuff. The inconsistency, the smothering, it's not going to work. My 2 littlest specifically, my big girls have minds of their own. They're sassy. They talk back.
They're like their mother.
They
Hi,
do
2
all
feathers.
the things. But my 2 little ones have massive anxiety. They keep
Right,
asking
right.
if we go to school, Mama.
They're the more pliable, flexible.
Absolutely.
And that's
do we
who-
have to
mhm.
do this? Do we
Right.
have to do that? And it was last year when they were talking about trying to get back in the classroom versus online.
Mhm.
We'll have them start practicing wearing
Ugh.
this during the Zoom meeting. So when they come in,
Oh my gosh.
they're ready and they know how to sit through. So they're not going to sit in their living room and be fully covered.
What is wrong with these people? They
Yeah.
really suggested that with a straight face.
They wanted the kids to do that for about 3 weeks before the classes started because they wanted the kids to be used to having it on and sitting through reading a book. Or
Isn't this sick, you guys?
they
It's
couldn't sing
sick.
songs. Tell me what kindergarten classroom you go into and the kids can't sing. They could watch a video, like a YouTube.
Well, Governor Newsom did
of
ban
singing.
that during
He did.
the.
He
So
did.
yeah, it's.
Singing's bad.
I find these practices to be occult rituals. I know that you are a believer.
Yeah.
You have a great faith, and you want to talk about any of that? What happened recently, or no?
We can.
What happened at your place of
So,
worship where you go?
We're LDS.
They're Mormon.
We're Mormons.
I'm friends with a Mormon, you
She
guys.
is, but
And I'm not Mormon.
I don't push it on her.
No, push
There's
it on
lots
her.
of
She was in our
respect
youth
here.
group.
I
We
was.
failed.
You didn't
We
fail.
failed. No.
You didn't fail.
My husband's
And-
like, I can't go to that Mormon
And
wedding.
honestly, a lot of the stuff from that youth group are
Was
the things
good.
that are triggering in my mind
So there
constantly
you go.
right now. Like,
Maybe it
oh,
did some good.
what are they talking about? But the leader of our church just came out and said that he
Mhm.
recommends
the
the-
vacation.
the pokey. He recommends it for all members.
Do you guys go to McKinleyville, to the Big Temple one?
No, we do
No.
Eureka.
Eureka?
We do
Where is
Eureka.
it at?
It's by St. Joe's.
Why can't I picture it? Is it hidden in the back
It's
somewhere?
kind of like
I
tucked to
think
the
I've
back
seen
of
it
St.
before.
Joe's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Um,
So what about the big one in McKinleyville? Isn't that the Grand Poobah one? Was that?
So we separate
Collins-
by district.
Isn't
so
one of them Collins' fathers or something?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
No, he's retired.
Her
from that.
husband's dad was one
He
of
was the bishop for a while.
Okay.
So we separate by district. So
Okay.
depending on where you live is the building
Mhm.
that you attend.
Okay.
It helps build community. And so
Nice.
the kids kind of go to school with the kids they go to church with.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of people that we go to church with that would like a religious exemption. So I'm not sure how that's going to work now.
Right.
Um,
Right.
because if our main guy is saying, hey, we're not doing this, we
Mhm.
want you all to get this. And we have people obviously that are passionate about not getting that.
Medical sovereignty, you know.
Mhm.
So, but he's not saying you can't come to church. He's just
No,
recommending
no.
it, I guess.
He's just recommending
We're in
it.
this weird phase in America now where other people want to recommend their health choices for you, and they almost get offended if you don't want to do the same choices
Yeah.
they do, which
Yeah.
is very bizarre to me because it's typically about this experimental thing where every
Mhm.
animal that took it died, and I don't know
Yeah.
if they don't know that or if they don't understand that we're waiting to see how people fare through this winter, and I don't feel like I need that.
I don't
I've heard
like
there's
it.
no virus in it, so why would I
Yeah.
even want it? You said you guys got tested for antibodies, is that right?
We were going to get tested for antibodies, but they told us that we weren't in the window. So you had to be within so many weeks of like when you first tested positive.
Okay.
But since there was no test when we had it,
Mm-hmm.
by the time the antibody came out, like 8-10 months later, it wouldn't have been in those short-term
I
antibodies.
thought you did get a test of something, the T cells. or
No,
something.
so
What
I
you were
want
telling
to
me.
get the T cell
Oh,
test,
okay,
but
okay.
it's like you have to find a lab that will do it and you have to send it away and it's very expensive at this point. Part of the thing that I have a problem with is there's not a ton of healthcare in Humboldt County.
Oh,
There's
no,
not a
it's horrible
ton
here.
of, family
Mhm.
practice providers. So to sit down, and somebody that I have talked with about this said, well, my doctor and I sat down and we came up, we talked about my whole medical history and we made a decision and I went and got it and I feel comfortable in that.
Right.
And I said, I am so supportive of you doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a family practice doctor. Every time I find a doctor and we get set up as a patient, they end up moving or retiring or So
Right,
I
right.
can't sit down and talk to somebody that's treated me over the years,
Right,
that
right.
knows my full medical history, that can say, maybe wait because of this or absolutely get it because of that. Again, my husband's a cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
He has had so many crazy things done to his body because of that. I don't feel comfortable pushing him to go out and get this when, again, he's had so many things injected into his body already. What might
Right.
counteract with what?
Right, right.
It's not something that, his whole lungs are full of scars from the cancer.
Right.
So why would I try an experimental thing that has shown to cause damage
Right.
to those organs?
And we were talking about the list of the doctors. Hi, Ms. Blue Moon. She's my number one fan right now, I'm pretty sure. Don't tread on me. Good to see you guys. That there's a list of our doctors. I'll show you guys since I'm going to talk about it. I did share it this morning, but it's still up here, so I might as well share it. This is our healthcare. I was shocked we even had this many doctors here.
Yeah.
First of all, we can never find a doctor, but these are the kind of articles we get. I did share this morning, so I'm not going to go into this a lot, but 111 Humboldt Del Norte physicians who really think you should take the V, just like they have, and it's just this huge guilt trip about they've studied the data, they've seen the benefits with their own eyes. They are very well tested, safe, and highly effective. Yes, the face diapers must continue, especially with the highly contagious Delta variant, but nothing as important as being vacationed. So, here's the list of all these doctors. It's just mind-blowing to me, Kami.
Yeah.
We haven't had a debate. There are doctors. I have shared this story once in the very beginning of Stand Up Humboldt. We had a doctor that came to he came to my house. I did a meeting at my house. I used to do the weekly meetings there.
Yeah.
And his wife was about ready to divorce him over it, you guys. She was not into it. She said, "You're going to make us a laughing stock." She was pro that and this, and he isn't. And, there's a lot of that. Have you also experienced a lot of that? I know a couple couples, I don't want to call them out, but in our warrior family, I know of two personally whose the men didn't take it, but the women did. And you know what? They still love their wives. They still they love each other, and they've worked it out. And so it's like, why can't we just do that in society too? Why can't we just leave each other alone, let each other make these decisions? Have you known any couples or families that have been really affected with this, or is everybody staying together, or how?
I mean, I definitely know families that one is and one isn't.
But they're working it out,
and
right?
there's discussion, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know some people are, maybe want the kids, but the other maybe isn't quite ready for that. But I mean,
that's a tough one. I've known families, not personally, but I heard of a family that the mom didn't want the 13-year-old to get it, but the dad did. And then when the 13-year-old went to stay with the dad took him. And so I know there's these things that are happening, and it's just that's the stuff that breaks our hearts, because we love our family and we would do anything. We've committed to our men till death do us part. This one and I, we are stuck with our guys.
Well, Colin and I are till eternity. So he doesn't even get away from me in death. But
well, in my heaven, there's no marriage. So that's what I hear. It's just you guys are gonna be on your own planet or something, right? Something like that.
We'll be in a little. I always tell them I want to just live in a cave. So we'll be in this.
You're making a shadow
in a spiritual cave with all of our children's stuff together.
Whatever.
It'll be glorious.
Whatever. Weird. Okay, so Lisa Anderson, I believe, Humboldt County. Yes, we are in Humboldt County. Lisa Anderson, we are in Humboldt County, California, which is we're practically in Oregon. We're up in what are we, 2 hours from the border of Oregon?
An hour and a half.
Yeah, so we're 5 hours north of San Francisco. It's California. We're in California. It's like China here, though. It's
crazy.
like China. Yeah, so we still have fun. And we're just doing what we can do. But you've gone to all these board meetings, and the boards never listen to you. They say nothing about what you say.
There's a couple I've written. I mean, tons of letters. I talk at the board meetings.
Have you had any success with anything Every time you go with these other parents, do they ever bend in any way for you guys?
Not really, no. I mean,
No.
they kind of have had their mind made up before they go in. They'll say, oh, let's ponder this. Let's bench it until next meeting because we need to, let's look into this more. But I mean, it was mostly about spending the money that the government was giving them the extra for.
Oh, I love listening to those.
The learning loss mitigation funds that went for infrastructure mostly.
Yeah, it's hard to listen to that. I get really disgusted listening to the Board of Supervisors talk about all the money they're spending on, and lately a couple of them are really pouring the guilt trip on for doing the thing. So it's tough here, you guys. I just wanted to swing by. We'll probably wrap it up. Do you have any final thoughts for all this stuff we talked about? Anything you want to say about what do you think people? I feel like everybody can do something. You can either be praying. Please be praying for us in Humboldt County. This is a very spiritually dark place, and there's a lot of lawlessness here, and it's very frightening to me. Earlier, I couldn't believe it was me saying this, but I'm a 50-year-old woman because I was arrested for not wearing the thing, and I've been a business owner for 26 years, and I love my employees, and I see the way that the government is I don't want to say training, but it feels like they're training everybody.
There's
to
definitely
treat each
propaganda
other
in the schools and even the shops. There's signs everywhere. I've seen people in other areas starting school, and they're coming home with a book with Elmo on it and it's about how to be a hero. And you're not a hero. We don't give any of this.
No, heroes do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Heroes save people.
Heroes touch, get bloody, get germy.
They help kids up when they fall.
Yeah. They pick up kids off the playground, and they don't jump back from them like that teacher did and acted like she was a germ. Yeah. These people are like.
So our schools are opening. Our schools are starting to open next week. We have a couple in Fortuna, a couple in Southern Humboldt that have opened already. But if all you guys want to, maybe send the kids to class on the first day and say, hey, they're here to learn. They have their little backpacks. They have their lunch pail. They got their new little school shoes. They're ready to go. Are you going to suspend them all? Right. Are you going to suspend them all because they're not willing to sit there and suffocate? They're not learning. My children did not learn last year like they've learned in the past. We have an amazing little school.
They learned how to be treated cruelly. Is what they learned. They've learned the worst kind of humanity here in Humboldt County, which frankly used to be the best. Used to be the best. People would come here and be like, wow, the people are so nice here. Well, they ruined that in one little season. One little season. It's like we gotta be completely focused on this one illness with a 99% recovery rate. We gotta turn the town upside down, muzzle the kids, make them take this thing. Like it's insane to me. So
when I was in high school, the big thing that was all the people were getting on the bandwagon of the school dress codes. You have a dress code for girls. Don't wear the spaghetti straps. Don't show your midriff. Don't wear short skirts. And again, my personality is the same as it was.
Naughty.
Why are you going to tell me that my education is not as important as how I dress? So I have to dress a certain way to get the education from you. This is the same thing. You have to wear this to get the education from you. Is the education that much worth it? To be fully covered and to, like my son, have asthma attack after asthma attack after asthma attack. How much is he learning if he's sitting there focusing on breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Don't pass out. It's embarrassing. Don't pass out. It's embarrassing. He needs his inhaler when he needs his inhaler. He can't breathe. He can't go and do PE. But you're saying that him being in that classroom is so important, but you have to do this the entire time. Is it though? Is it that important?
Well, maybe you haven't seen that meme where, the girl's standing out there and she looks over at her friend and she says, aren't you afraid to go outside? I bet I don't have it in here. I thought I did. And there's a deadly virus out there. And she says, aren't you afraid you're going to get sick? And he says, no. He says, not if I do this. He's like covering his mouth with his fabric. That's basically what you're asking these kids to do. Cover your mouth like this. Okay, we're good. We're good. Because that 1,700 micronic particle that actually can escape through the diapers is not going to protect nobody from nothing. It's a ridiculous, silly facade. It's virtual signaling at its worst.
Yeah.
And
we've all been through the grocery stores, even fully covered. If you can smell somebody's body odor or you can smell somebody's perfume, how effective is it?
Yeah, I mean, it just really makes people feel better. I've talked to a guy at a store who was wearing it, and some of his coworkers weren't wearing it. It was back when, they released what they give us about a month off. They gave us a month off here on the 15th. We had these dates set in stone. We're going to release it on this date. They tell us like 3 weeks before. We're in emergency with Delta variant, but we're going to do this in 2 weeks from now. So stupid. Yeah. And what was I saying? Because I totally forgot.
The gentleman that liked wearing it.
Oh, yeah, the gentleman. Thank you. The gentleman that liked wearing it, his coworkers weren't wearing it. And I said, why are you still wearing it? In a nice way, because he was cool with straight shooting. And I said, well, can I ask you why you still wear that if, you don't have to? And he says, well, honestly, I feel better. He goes, my girlfriend is immune compromised. And I go, okay, well, it's actually not really healthier for you. Like you're probably going to get sicker because you're touching your face and you're wearing this back. I try to go into it a little bit. And he goes, oh, I know. He says, I've had so many mask sores and I've had staph infection and I get acne all over. And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, what do you say?
Yeah.
What do you say? He knows that it makes him unhealthy and yet he feels better wearing it. If that's not a mind, you know what? Yeah. I don't know what is. If you aren't,
because it's been dug in through the media, it's been dug in at the stores, it's been dug in on the radio, it's been dug in every aspect of every part of our lives. They're just doing little plugs to where we feel awkward now. We feel like there's something wrong with us. It's absolutely changed our culture over the course of a year and a half.
It's crazy.
At what point are kindergartners going to see their teacher smile at them, see the enunciation of words and letters, and this is how you say these things? How much is that going to change their social structure growing up and the things that they think are okay? And I mean, it's a domino effect at this point.
Well, the special needs kids are the ones that are really having the hardest time right now. All their services are shut down. Their parents are just completely drained. They have no break. I mean, they got them really dependent on that respite care. They get that break from, and now all those little social things that those kids could do together, those places have been shut down. I can't imagine what it's like for the hearing impaired. I took sign language in college. I don't know much of it anymore. I'm embarrassed to say because I haven't used it, but I do know my family members that can't hear anymore, and they totally count on lip reading. Yeah. My viewers were counting on lip reading this morning because I was talking for 4 minutes without my microphone. So finally I looked at my thing and it's like everyone's like, no sound. I'm like, oh, yeah. But yeah, the hearing impaired, the special needs, the lonely, the senior citizens. I mean, it's just abuse all around, you guys. It's abuse. These people can't die with dignity. We didn't have celebrations of life, death, marriages, graduations. They took everything away from us. Everything.
Yeah.
And they're still doing it.
In church for over a year.
Oh, my church didn't play any games.
Half of the reason to go to church is to praise the Lord, is to lift up your voice, is to get into it.
Your church would not sing.
We could listen.
Oh my gosh, you guys. It is time to come back to my church, Tammy. We sang, and I started telling everybody how my church stood up for me this morning because I'll tell you who later, but tried to turn me away. And no, I did go home. And what happened was my church held an emergency meeting, a board meeting, because they heard that I was sent away. And my husband went out and talked to the person who did that. You were in youth group with you were in youth group with this person.
I can imagine.
You know who it was.
Yeah. You were sent away at the door.
I was sent away at the door of my church in the height of the lockdown by one person who was I love this person. They're a
but
brother.
Everybody's so afraid of getting in trouble. There's always somebody above somebody else that will yell at you if you don't do it. And the county coming down on businesses, places of worship, schools, everything. If people aren't following the rules, we're going to fine you. We're going to fine you. There was a Winco. I know my husband doesn't work there anymore, but there was a Winco that was fined like $10,000 because somebody walked through and tallied how many people they saw without masks. And for each person they saw without a mask,
yeah, but they don't realize
there was a fine.
Those fines will not hold water. Yeah, they're going to get that baloney fine. Like when I was arrested, I was given a ticket and a notice to appear to court. What happens when these fraudulent police officers write you bogus tickets? That's a bogus ticket. There's no legislative code to say they had to shut down. So they write something in, like for me, it was considered trespassing. And so then the courts get it and they say, oh, we're just throwing this out. They throw it out. They can't take money from you, a business. There's nothing on the books yet. So I hope these people stand up before it is, because this fall they're going to do it again. That every week I listen to that public health officer. It's the testing, which has already been proven to be debunked. Yep. He's scaring the crap out of. What'd you say? Somebody told you there was 112 cases or something like that. Oh, somebody said that there's the last one I saw, it said 69 cases. Like 69. Who comes up with these numbers? They make stuff up. But they've
given a date of when the PCR tests are getting the recall. We're not using them past this date. Why are we using them up to that date if they're not accurate?
They because they must need to use the money. They must need to spend. I don't know why they do anything that they do. All I know is that there's laws that we have that are supposed to protect us and that have been provided for us. People worked really hard to make those laws so we could be protected and not discriminated against or harassed or bullied. And these kids ought to be able to breathe freely. They have physical things wrong with them, and they're still making them wear this. Can you believe this? These kids have asthma, and they're still. You are not the first family that I know that has told me this, and it's so infuriating to me. And I've met many employees who tell me their boss makes them wear it. They have asthma and they still have to wear it. There's no exemptions on it here, you guys. The kids are, so
even if you find a doctor that will give you an exemption,
right,
nobody will honor it.
Right.
You can say I have an exemption, and they're like, we don't do exemptions.
Right. They don't follow the law here. They don't follow the law here. We are in the wild, wild west, lawless county of Humboldt County. So I don't know, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. But tomorrow we're going to have a town hall meeting with or without the city council. Supposedly, what's her name? Nazi or Jazzy?
I think it's
Nazi Javid is going to be there live streaming. I'm going to live stream it. You guys will be at the fair rocking your animals. So what are you going to sell? You got
two pigs. We have 2 pigs for sale, and then Kelsey's got a goat to show.
2 pigs and a goat to show.
Yep.
It is insane, Lisa. It is very insane here. Well, this is my good friend. I've known Kami for 15, 20 years, you guys, and her kids are beautiful, and I love them very much. And I was just stopping by to say hello. And whenever I stop by these days, people tell me all these horrible stories, and I'm like, wait, I got my computer. Let me go get it. Let's talk about that. And then the kids start telling me stuff, and I didn't want to talk. I try to keep kids shielded from this stuff. I don't typically want to bring them into it, but I know that her kids are very well aware of what's been going on. They're in the thick of it, and they deserve to have their voices heard. So I'm really thankful to you for letting me share your beautiful gingers on TV. Absolutely. And letting them I think that is, I would like to see more kids talk too, even though it would make me angry and it will break my heart. I think that's what we need to see. I was telling some of my friends, if you guys could see the way we come home sometimes crying from the stuff, the way they treat us, I know a lot of men and women would probably want to drive to California for us if they could see it. And I have a lot of videos showing some of the cruelty that we've experienced here. And it's just not normal for Humboldt County. This is just some infiltrated junk garbage. And we're trying to focus on real wellness here. Humboldt County, we feel like Humboldt County knows real wellness. We know a lot of natural remedies. You don't have to be a witch or a pagan to actually know how to do some homeopathic remedies. And so I've been here so long, people, it's not just cannabis here. It's lots of natural stuff here. So essential oils and all that stuff. So we could lead the way for the state. We could lead the way for the country just to get a new narrative of, oxygen hugs.
We're the low. I mean, when things were getting crazy last year, San Diego was opening back up. I have friends in San Diego and they're like, my kids are back in. Why aren't yours? San Diego was one of the hubs, one of the big places. There were so many sick people there. They were the first to shut down. Why are we having to scratch and claw to get any of the freedoms back? Everybody else is opening up, but we're going to wait till the bitter end to open anything up. And then when we do open it back up, it's snatched back way before anybody else shuts back down.
Peggy Hall said they would do that too. She predicted it last year. They're going to give you a little, then they're going to pull it back. They're going to give you a little, and that's how we concede to, okay, we'll have the fair, but we all got to wear the diapers. And that sucks because I'm not going anywhere. They're going to tell me I got to do that. But I support people and their choices for medical. Look at, she loves her kitchen. Ms. Blue Moon.
My husband built it for me. Thank you.
I came here, she's ironing her children's white 4-H clothes. She's that mom. I don't iron. I do not iron at all.
I only own an iron for 4-H and FFA uniforms.
She's that mom, and the kitchen's all, And then she had this pot of potatoes on the stove. And with all 4 of these kids, I think every one of them went to those potatoes. She says, leave my potatoes alone. Those are for my potato salad. Yeah. Blessed Deanna for good friends. Yes, we will keep
fighting though. I mean, my kids, that's what I have to answer to God for how I raise these children, how I fought for these children. That's the hill I'm going to die on. You can bury me on that hill when we're done. I don't even know. But I'm going to continue to fight for their freedoms in these things specifically, but in all things.
That's right.
The school's doing okay. I want the school to do better. The school is offering some of the things they offered before. I want them to offer more. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep demanding for the school to step up, for the school to change policies that maybe are restricting these children in the things that they do. I know that I'm not alone. Just because there's not as many of us in the board meetings that are virtual, I get it. Life is busy. Things are crazy.
That's right.
We're not alone fighting for our kids.
That's right.
We are more than willing. Expel our kids, suspend our kids.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do for the kids. I will pull my kids.
I know your
like
kids want to go. Her daughter's going to high school, you guys. I mean, that's what they want to do. So I know a lot of parents are probably like, well, you should have pulled your kids, because Peggy Hall said that too. Don't even have your kids in there. And so, don't judge people.
I felt guilty. I felt
make
pressured.
Those choices.
I felt like, you have that doubt in you. I'm not going to do a good job. If I teach, I'm not a great speller. I mean, I will put that on a banner. I'll wear it on a t-shirt. I spell like garbage. I don't want to push that on my kids. I don't want to feel like maybe they'd be better spellers if I hadn't have homeschooled them. Yeah. But I can honestly say, I can look you in the eyes and I can honestly say, I could have done better myself.
Yeah. Well, now you know. They wanted to go. And that's the hard thing. It's like, Mom, no, it's really hard to take a stand against your kids when that this is the only life they know, and everything was taken to them, and that was by design. And I thought it was 20 kids that were coerced, and it turns out it was like 50. that's just really sad to me, you guys. So, yeah, she's got the stories. This is one of the moms that I've been getting a lot of my information from, you guys. She's one of my sources. So you got to hear it right from the horse's mouth tonight. She's got her finger on the pulse of the schools, several of them. Excuse me, your husband is working for a good company now, and that's good. And you were working too. So yeah. So we're all doing.
We'll see how long I'm working. I don't know. They might push me out.
Right. And you'll see, but we're doing what we can here, you guys. We're pretty backed in the corner, but we still have joy. We're still happy. Yeah. We love the kids, and they bring us joy. And just to come into her home and have them all running at me, and Auntie D's here, and the irons
and it
going.
Was totally spur of the moment. We're like, I'm like elbows deep in 6 projects.
Oh yeah, and the house is messy like it should be. You know, I love my families.
Kids are doing their chores with roller skates on.
Yeah. It was great. New dog is running around. Oh yeah. I love family life, you guys. It's great. Well, thank you, Kami, for sharing with everybody. Maybe I can stream with you again, follow up after the fair or at the fair. You could call me. We could stream at the fair. I could have you show me what it's looking like with people walking around. You know, maybe some of those 4-H people will be able to win over your ability to just not have to wear them there. You never know.
They've not asked for the pigs to be covered, so that's good.
I hear that some of the pets are getting the jab, you know. That's what I've seen that anyway. Well, I'll be on again tomorrow at 10 in the 10 o'clock hour. Today I barely made it on, but yeah, thanks again to Kami, and thank you guys for checking in with us. It's always better to have people chatting and not acting, but showing you that they care and being there with you. We would just talk to ourselves through the computer. We don't care. We have fun anyway. But thank you all for checking in. I love you all so much. Peace out. Yeah. See you tomorrow.